Hey guys, so basically, I think what I'm gonna start doing on this channel is, doing movie reviews, which I am very, like, critical about movies, so when I see them, I sit there and I'm like, that was awesome, or they could have done better with this, or, that sort of thing. So I thought to myself, like, 5 minutes ago, literally, like, why don't I do movie reviews? Because I'm sitting here thinking about this one movie that I absolutely adore. And I'm like, why don't, it's not really a movie that people know about, so it's just like, why don't I do that? But anyway, so basically, what I'm gonna do is, probably about once a month I'll do a movie review, and then, you know, at some point during that month too, probably every other week, would be, singing, and which is obviously what this channel's been for about a year or two. And I'm very sparse with it, but my schedule's hectic. Yeah, you'd understand if you knew it. So I'm gonna talk to you about this movie called Geography Club. It's basically, what to say about this movie first? It's basically about the school's GSA club, but at first when it gets started, it's not really. They call it a geography club to be safe, and they think that people, if they start a GSA club, will be like, oh my god, you're gay. And it's just like, no. Um, yeah, so the movie, the main character is Russell, and he, in the very beginning of the movie, falls in love with this guy online who he says, hey, I want to meet up in the park with you. And they do so, and they find out that they go to the same school, and they both get kind of freaked out and don't say, hey, I'm so-and-so. So Russell goes home feeling like a dumbass, and so basically, I don't really like the guy that he fell in love with, like this character or anything. He's basically a douchebag. I mean, he looks like he'd be cool to play, but he's basically a douchebag. And he uses Russell a lot, and he would say, "Oh, go do this for me, go do that for me." And he ends up getting him this football jersey because he's on the football team, and he's like, I want to hang out with you more, so I got you on the team. Like, I'm sitting there thinking, oh my god, Russell, why? Like, I love you, why? Like, I just don't understand why this guy won't hang out with him, and won't, he feels like people are just gonna be like, what are you saying? Like, what are you doing hanging out with Russell now? He's gay. And it's just like, really? I'm sitting there like, that's so 21st century, and it bothers me. But so yeah, basically this girl's like, all said and done, they end up going to camp together, and this girl, they end up kissing, and this girl walks by and sees them, and so basically she gives them both notes to the geography club, and guess who doesn't show up? Yeah, Russell shows up, and he's like, what's going on? And there's these three people sitting in the room together just talking about whatever, and she comes up to him, she's like, what'd she say? She's like, God, what was it? And she says something along the lines of, this isn't a real geography club. He's like, what is it? And she says, it's basically a club for support. And he goes, well, what kind of club? And so she explains that it's a GSA, and he's like, you have no right, da 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 da. And don't worry, the next day he gets over that and shows up and is 100% interested, but doesn't want to show it. And of course, bad boy boyfriend doesn't show up at all, but anyway. He, I don't know, just, and he ends up having to deal with his best friend who doesn't know that he's gay yet. Asks him to go on a double date with him and another girl and the girl's best friend. Long story short, the girl that his friend went with was a bitch, and only went out with his best friend to get in Russell's pants, and Russell's like, well, hell no, because I'm gay, but I'm not going to tell you yet, because why would I tell you anyway? But yeah, Russell's just a complicated guy, and I saw myself in him a lot. Cause he's all over the place, cause he doesn't want to come out, but he wants to. Not that I'm straight. But I mean, like, it's just, he's stuck in that awkward position of, what do you do? Which I continuously, being a senior in high school, face that. And so, I don't know, yeah. And his best friend is like thebomb.com, because he ends up breaking up with this girl after she said something drunkenly about wanting to get into Russell's pants and not his. And so the girl that was supposed to be going out with Russell ends up going out with Russell's best friend, because she's like, I'm really, really sorry, dude, I didn't mean for that to happen. And I think the biggest point to me was when his best friend showed up to the first GSA meeting. And I'm sitting there like, that's basically me, because obviously, like I said, I'm straight, but I mean, I have best friends who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, whatever you want to say. I have friends that are that. But they're just normal people. And I don't understand why society says, "Oh my God, they've got a disease." It's like, no, they don't. It's not like they're evil masterminds trying to blow up the world. That's okay to be like, oh, stay away from them. But no, they're just normal people, and they happen to love everyone just like we do. And yeah. So at the end of the movie, they have they have the first GSA meeting under. They obviously, some of them are very scared about that. There's like 2 out of the 4 of Russell and the other people that are like, no, this isn't happening. But then they get persuaded by one of Russell's friends. And they happen, I mean, there's about maybe 30 kids that show up to the first GSA meeting, and I'm sitting there like, that's awesome. Like, it really is. I mean, of course, they're all sitting there like, oh my God, at first, because they're for a while after the bell rang, no one show up. No one no one had shown up. But of course, when Russell walks into the room, there has to be his football buddy standing out there being like, if you walk in there, everyone will know. And I'm like, I was just like sitting there like, you go, Russell, like, smack them in the face for me, will you? Because if I were there, I totally would have. But anyway, yeah. So the movie ends with Russell starting to give his speech in the first GSA meeting. Does this whole thing where I'm Russell something, and welcome to GSA. Then it kind of pans out of the room, and the movie ends with I think it actually ends technically with his boyfriend. He broke up with him before the movie ends, by the way. I forgot to say that. But anyway, he is walking away from the room, and I'm still sitting there like, that makes no sense. Like, I don't understand. Like, the boyfriend who, happens to be all in love with Russell, and he happens to have like the most accepting parents in the town, who are like, oh, Uncle Mike is getting married to his boyfriend at some point, and he's gonna ask him to, like, and and then there comes a point in the movie where Russell's like, dude, you have the most accepting parents in the world, and my parents are like forcing me to go to Yale and Harvard, get into all these crazy schools, and your parents really don't give a crap. Like, you could do anything in the world, and your parents wouldn't care. So, yeah, I mean, you're kind of left with a love-hate relationship for the boyfriend, because, I mean, there's something likable about him, but he's still kind of like an asshole at the same time. But, yeah, so I would definitely give this movie about an A, not necessarily an A plus, but it's definitely up there with, some of the movies with really, really good meanings to it, and it's definitely prominent in today's society. So I would recommend, if you could, it's on demand somewhere. If you have Time Warner, just search Geography Club, and then there's some YouTube videos on it. So I definitely recommend you go watch that, because a lot of it, like I said, it's prominent in today's society, and I just happened to come across it on demand one night. It was like, oh my gosh, I could show this to my school's GSA, and I might even do that. I just haven't found the full movie online yet. But anyway, have a good day. Bye skis, and now bye skis.